Hello, today I'm going to talk about an important feature of essay writing, especially in IELTS. It is concession paragraph. In the context of IELTS writing, task 2, it may be necessary to incorporate concession paragraph. This lesson today aims to provide comprehensive information on this aspect of academic writing. Acknowledging the opposing viewpoint is an essential aspect of constructing a well-rounded argument. By conceding that there is some merit to the other side of the debate, you demonstrate a thoughtful and mature approach to the issue. This skill is particularly crucial for achieving high scores in English proficiency examinations, such as IELTS. So it's very important because it showcases your ability to engage with complex ideas in writing. In an academic essay, demonstrating logical and critical thinking skills is essential. Even if you're not required to present a balanced view, acknowledging opposing ideas and arguments showcases your skills and smartness, so incorporating concession can be important. Concession paragraphs serve two primary purposes: to provide balance in the essay and also to acknowledge an opposing idea, even if it is not fully agreed with. They are particularly useful in IELTS essay that require expressing agreement or disagreement is very common in IELTS topics. The concession paragraph can either present a valid opposing argument for balance or simply introduce and refute opposing idea or opinion contrary to your own opinion, but you think there is a justification for it. The term concession is derived from the verb concede, which means to acknowledge or accept something as true after initially denying or resisting it. Therefore, a concession involves admitting something that contradicts your beliefs. The placement and extent of a concession paragraph depend on your purpose and focus and intention. There are no strict rules for their use, and they can appear at different points of the IELTS writing or in different bodies. In IELTS essay, they could typically be included in the second or third or even in the first body. It depends on your intention and focus, as I said before. By and large, concession involves stating one's opinion, simultaneously recognizing there is a contrary opinion. Let's look at models of concession paragraphs. In the first model, a concession paragraph, include conjunctions of contrast, such as while, and in the second part of this sentence, we state our own opinion after noting the opposing idea in the first part of sentence or clause. We can see here the example. The writer's stance is in the favor of implementing these laws somehow, but he or she acknowledges that these laws may not be applicable to all individuals. This serves as an illustration of how concession can be incorporated into writing. So in the first model, both sides of argument are presented in a single paragraph, or better to say, in a single sentence, starting with the opposing one. I call this version a short format of concession. that is presented in subordinate clause only. You see? Now it's time to look into the second model. A concession paragraph in this model may involve discussing the perspective you may not fully endorse in a paragraph before presenting your favorite viewpoint in the following paragraph. By addressing both sides of the argument in separate paragraphs, you provide a comprehensive analysis of the topic. This type is common when you would like to discuss both sides, but you favor one side more. This has to be shown in the introductory paragraph, in the final part of introduction, in the thesis statement. To begin, clearly state your own position in the introduction. Using transitional phrases such as however can effectively introduce your main viewpoint later on in your essay. In another word, following the introduction, the concession paragraph should precede the body paragraph that supports your stance. This structure is not only common in writing, but is also prevalent in formal debates. By addressing the opposing side first and then presenting your own viewpoint, you lend more credibility to your own argument. This strategic approach serves as an anchor, ensuring that your perspective resonates strongly with the reader or examiner. You can see this model in the example I provide now. Okay, the topic is the most important consideration when choosing any career or job is having a high income. This is the example. Okay, we see that the writer does not believe that money is the most important factor in choosing a job. Second paragraph or the first body has been allocated to the significant role of money, but the writer is in the second body. Even you can feel it in the conclusion as well. Okay, the example, another example. Okay, in the second example, this type of concession paragraph, you can see that opposing argument has been noted and in the first body or the second paragraph, but the second and third bodies have been allocated to supporting the writer's idea that has been brought at the end of the introduction as the thesis statement. Okay, let's look at the third model of concession paragraph. In this model, the concession comes with refutation, and usually in the final body paragraph is very common. For example, we can see in this model that the writer believes that studying at university should not be necessarily related to job or occupational interest. So in the first and second body are reasons for studying without job reasons. But in the third body, the writer brings the opposing idea with a concession word that is admittedly. But the point here is that the writer has to finalize this paragraph with refutation. It means that the writer goes back and insists on his or her opinion. You can see that in the sentence starting with however. So, concession paragraph starts with a concession word. Here is admittedly and ends with a refutation word. That here is however. So you can see that here. And I should note that in this model, we can use conjunctive adverbs of contrast as well, such as although. And here we imagine that in the first and second body, the writer has noted his or her arguments against zoos, but in the third body uses concession and refutation together. Although I generally oppose the notion of zoos, I do admit that they hold some values. Okay, here we can find and that the writer is using the concession paragraph and starting with opposing idea. But in the final part of this paragraph, you can see the refutation and this sentence. Okay? I mean, starting refutation with however. However, the argument I provided previously, I don't know when, are so convincing that why this should be shut down. Okay? There is a catch here, but no problem. But here, refutation. You can see the refutation. And another example, you can see a longer refutation with an elaborated reason and a related example. But here, the paragraph doesn't have any concession word, such as admittedly, though, but it is a concession paragraph for including two sides of argument ended with a refutation. So far, so good. I repeat my statement. There are no strict rules regarding the placement of concession paragraphs within the essay bodies. In an IELTS essay with 4 or 5 paragraphs, the concession can be included in any body, in the second, in the third, or fourth body, depending on your focus and intention and purpose. When starting a concession paragraph, it is crucial to make it clear to the reader that you are conceding a point rather than making a point that is new. No. The reader should understand that this is not your main idea, but rather an admission contrary to your own viewpoint. In this lesson today, we learn that the concession paragraphs can be beneficial for the IELTS examinations. Although they are not mandatory, they can be very great. While they can be effectively utilized when responding to agree or disagree prompts, it is important to note that there is no explicit requirement in the scoring criteria to include them, but it may be interesting to know that, frankly, and personally speaking, the third body can appeal to me more than others. Okay, let's learn more later. Bye for now.